leader in stem cell research. He is the founder and director of KaviKrishna Laboratory, and sir has plethora of merits to his credit, and we are truly honored by your gracious presence, sir. So I welcome you to take a seat on the dais.
This is the Thorough Lab for Global Health. That's where I started an independent non-profit research laboratory in Boston back in 2014. You can go to the website and see it. It has 3 wings. One is this basic medical science research, mainly on stem cell altruism. We're collaborating with our Stanford University where I worked for 6 years. Then I worked at Harvard University Foresight Institutes from 2014 to 2018, also collaborating. But in both of these institutes, they wanted me to become their own member, faculty member. They didn't allow me to run my Indian lab or Indian clinics because of insurance problem, also because of intellectual property right. So 2018, I had to make a hard decision. I said, okay, I can leave Stanford or Harvard, I can leave my KaviKrishna or Indian scientific. No way. So it was actually a good decision because now we have a Thorough Lab as an independent lab. We are pioneering also in medical humanities program. This is the emerging field in the world, Vedic. And also next is our global health. Like we do have some pioneering discovery also in tuberculosis, I'll explain. So overall, Thorough Lab is a branch of actual KaviKrishna Lab. So the goal is to train our KaviKrishna Laboratory scientists and send them to Thorough Lab. Or bring Thorough Lab or Harvard or Stanford scientists to our village, Sualkuchi, or Assam, an exchange program, so that we can bring medical education and research to a way so that northeast of India can benefit, also America also benefit. Because in American global health program is realizing after COVID-19 that America is not an island. Immigrants will continue to come. So we need to really learn from the rest of the world. So that's why it's becoming very important for this kind of model, like what we're doing. A clinician that we started the root as Professor Bikul said, we stay with the root and bring our knowledge, whatever we learn, to the global space. So these are 2 labs. And so then I will tell, before I start the journey, that my main goal has been always in basic science to understand in evolutionary biology how our body defends against cancer cells. That's a basic thing. And so there are 2 ways our body immune system works. One is by competition. It's as per Darwin's law of evolution, our immune system fight against pathogens or any other like abnormal cells. So there's always another way also our immune system actually fight against pathogens. It's by cooperation. And also altruism. If you know the basic immunology now, everything, all this our immune cells like T cells, B cells, neutrophils, the macrophages, they all come from hematopoietic stem cells from blood. So some of these hematopoietic stem cells differentiate these immune cells. And they actually sacrifice their fitness to enhance the group fitness. But that's called altruism. But evolutionary biology, this is an important part, is this altruism or cooperation is an important component, and so far we are the first to discover or identify that our stem cell also, we have an altruistic defense mechanism. So we're exploring for a whole level of KaviKrishna Lab the very basic thing about the stem cells and cancer stem cells. How these altruistic stem cells, while trying to help the stem cell niche, the plants, how some of these stem cells accidentally turn into cancer stem cells. It's a tragedy, and it's like, even though the intention is good for the stem cell, some of the stem cells turn into cancer stem cells. We discovered that mechanism. But that's what we do with whole lab, very basic. Number two, we do also kind of global health. So this is my American identity, in a way. And now, so I think when Professor Mirakulma Goswami and I say I was Mihirda, so I will tell his story to me. But when he asked me, he said, Bikul, why did you come to Nagaon Medical College? You inspire us with your story. Tell your story. I think I will tell my story for the next about 10 minutes. So my story is like any clinician, it's called bed to bedside. From clinical experience to research. Because to be honest, I am not a scientist, even though I became a scientist. We're trained to become a doctor. Like you will all trained to become doctor, we will be like reading manuscript, having all these textbooks, we'll come to the clinics, we'll memorize, and then one day we'll become a doctor. And then our journey starts. So, what to do, how to go for the next step. So my goal back in 1992, when I became an MBBS doctor, was basically I did not know. I thought maybe I'll become a student leader, maybe I became a sergeant. Every day my goal changed, actually. This happened to everybody. So then, but I went to SPM duty. I was in the Mananiya Dr. Oshri Bossusar. He made it compulsory that we were SPM duty for 2 months. We went to running. At that time, our girls used to go to Bikul, and the guys used to go to running near Government. And I happened to meet Dr. Poremal Bhattacharya sir. He was a bird activist. So one day he said, Bikul, we need to conserve Diporville. We have everything environmental thing going on the street. So we do something. I said, what should I do then, sir? He said, well, if you go to Rani, look for a rare bird. I said, really? I took that promise. So by doing that bird study in Diporville and Gaurapur near SPM, like for 2 months I was busy. I learned about this called CBPR. It's called Community-Based Participatory Action Research. Also, versus too. So before that, I had an internal medicine training for 1 year with Dr. Mirakulma. In a way, even though I was not always directly under him, as a magazine secretary, I used to go to him, get his advice. And I always inspired him because he was the only MD PhD. And he wrote an article for a magazine, I think South Africa. And I asked the South Africa, what did you do? And he's always kind of frustrated because none of us will understand research. And he used to, during our band site, when we had this our group discussion, he used to always inspire, do research. You need to do research. And that word actually was stuck in me. So when I went to this SPF duty, I had the bird study, and I learned the methodology of the community-based participatory action research. That means you have to engage the community to do research. I thought this is a great idea. Then I planned, okay, I will come to Sualkuchi. I'm a community doctor, I was going to be, but it is also research. Whatever I learned, I will just do some kind of research. That was kind of my first idea about, and then I used to come to doctor to share my thought with near that or something. Really inspired was. Also with Professor Dilip Das, he was very inspiring for us. Also our Dhruvaji Bora sir, he was our convener, like that. But then what happened, my dad, after first 2 months, I got really frustrated because no one will come to my clinic. No one. I was a young doctor. And then I had economical problems, so I had to earn some money. So I went to Delhi. But I kept my clinic. And I was fortunate because my brother, Dr. Jugal Das, he was just becoming doctor. I said, Jugal, you take care of my clinic, I go to Delhi to earn good money. I came to Delhi, but then in Delhi, when after about a few months, after practicing a little bit, I heard my dad had cancer. He had esophagus. So I took him to Delhi AIMS, and one of my very well-known doctor, he is my cousin brother, Dr. Bhabadev Das. He is a renowned heart surgeon. He was in Delhi. He is my little cousin. He said Bikul, stay in AIMS. But I returned back with my dad. I thought my dad will survive for 6 months. I should be with him. But in AIMS, I learned about the medical oncology. I learned the chemotherapy. In 4 to 5 months, I was in many other patients. Everybody, those who had related cancer, you become a cancer expert all of a sudden. So when I come back to my village, I become suddenly a medical oncologist all of a sudden. Because there are many people with many cancer patients. I'll start giving them chemotherapy. And at that time, medical oncology didn't exist. So that's how I accidentally became a first medical oncologist. So then, after my dad passed away, so I went to Bhutan because to earn more money, more opportunity. So in Bhutan, I had the opportunity to be in a hospital called Mongor Hospital. It was a 50-bedded hospital, had all these facilities, nice laboratories, extra machines. And I had this good training in the sense I was working with one of the internal medical specialists, gynecologist, surgeon. So there, for the first time, I was doing this bone marrow. That was what I ever thought I was the best. To take the bone marrow out and do this histopathology examination, histocytology, to look for leukemia cells or look for malaria cells. And this is how I once accidentally, I also did AMP because I could do everything. Yeah, TB patients. This is where I saw this bacteria, TB bacteria in this bone marrow cells. And that's really triggered me that, okay, that means the stem cells, they have this defense mechanism. And they have to protect themselves from bacteria, from cancer cells. So I put together all this into a book, the world, when you go for medical practice. Maybe in your village, but as a clinician, if you observe and connect to your own thinking, reasoning, questioning, that might lead to big discovery. And that's what happened actually, because in 2013, we are the first in the world to show that bacteria can hide inside stem cells. We reported that TB bacteria hide dormant TB bacteria hide under inside the mesenchymal stem cell development. So that was an interesting observation. So this is one example of our journey for a clinician. And if I have to inspire you, I need to inspire with this that I did this research that, 2013 paper, I came to Sualkuchi, then I went to medical clinic in rowing Arunachal Pradesh, because from 1998, I used to go to many remote places and enter mountains. Every year the medical camp. And I fell in love with this Edu missionary community of rowing Arunachal Pradesh. Very nice people. So there I was, they actually gave me the permission from Arunachal Pradesh to do a research to extract bone marrow from them, from those patients, and then to demonstrate that the TB bacteria hide inside the mesenchymal stem cell of bone marrow. That means this is an example of the community-based participation research. If you give to the community, the doctor, the community will return back to you with knowledge, with blessings, and with something, big success. So this is one of my stories. Now, this is another story that came up. This is, if you Google, you will find out that at Stanford University, we have the news one came up because we're the first one to report that stem cell exhibits altruism. And here we have Dr. Lekika Pathak. I thought, she needs to come over here because she just completed her PhD defense in IIT Guwahati a month ago, and she's taking forward her team. Just to that, where it was studying how this stem cell is defense could be exploited by cancer cell to metastasize in different organs, and also bacterial activity is the dominant. And okay, so far my job as a CVPR, was to give back to Assam, give back to India. So we started the KaviKrishna Laboratory in Guwahati IIT back in 2010, the independent laboratory. So far we have this, almost 7 PhD graduates. Now Parton is almost completing. Ibrahim, he already completed. They're all in a good position. So if you guys are interested to learn some basic research to study microbiology or even culture stem cell for 2 months, 3 months, just contact KaviKrishna. She's here because she's running a training program. And in this training program, only we see mostly biotech students come. But my main goal has been that our MBA students should see some research expert. Because you don't believe me, when first 1999, when I went to this hospital for 6 children in Toronto, where stem cell was discovered on the top medical institute in the world. There, for the first time, I saw living cell under microscope. Because we did not have the opportunity at the time in Assam or anywhere in India as a doctor to go to a lab, to see a physical cell lab, and to see living either stem cells or cancers or any cells. We always thought would fix tissues instead of this slide. We didn't see. So, but now we have the opportunity. We are the only one lab in Maldives maintaining a tissue culture facility non-stop for nearly 14 years now. Everybody's welcome. I think that you should get some point on this training. So that somebody may be, inspired to do research, and we need that MD PhD program in India. Recently, 2 weeks ago, there was a headline in Nagaon Assam Tribune. Thank you, Brezda, he organized. The headline was that our medical oncology protocol, we all run this chemotherapy radiation protocol based on American lessons, American experience. We don't have a single Indianized medical oncology policy. Why? It's because we don't have MD PhD students. Our doctor doesn't have the research experience. Few years ago, we have Dr. Damodar Das. He's a very renowned hematology oncologist in GMC. Yeah. So I said, because I have introduced multiple myeloma cases. And I always get struck because even though I don't practice in America because of insurance problem, but I always say, tumor board meetings at Mass General Hospital, Stanford Medicine, Toronto. I know that multiple myeloma is a very good prognosis. But my patient in Assam, in Sualkuchi, multiple myeloma, hardly they survive for 2 years. So I came to GMC and I said, okay, General, what is your report? How many people survived? There is nothing. There is no feedback. If I go to Nagaon Medical College today and ask, give me the last 15 years of prognosis report of, say, kind of head and neck cancer, there's nothing. We don't have feedback. But we have very, very good doctors, very sincere professors, sincere doctors. Because I have been all over the world. Even though I practice in America, I have been in Japan, Korea, Europe, Germany, UK. Right? I have seen the top scientists, top doctors in the world. I have seen also doctors in GMC, including Professor Krishna, right? We're not that bad. We're actually good. We have many good doctors. But because we don't have feedback for our work, so we cannot actually improve. And this feedback system is really required. That's our research component. It's important. And this is very kind of simple common sense. That if you don't have feedback, how can you improve? Gina Vaidu, I'm just particularly mentioning their name. There are many doctors. They have been really very good, working very hard. I understand. There are so many cases of CML leukemia in Assam. There are only 2. But even though they're doing very good work, there is no any feedback. We still don't know why our multiple myeloma cases are so. This is one example. So this is what our hope. Using this, our students, now they're doctors and they're scientists, that we want to develop a research environment. The way we promised in 1992 to the Nagaon Medical College everybody in our Medical Education India seminar, that we need to bring medical research. So that's why we're here, and our collaboration is growing. So that's my kind of end of my inspiration story. Now I need to tell you the way I was inspired by Mihirda. Because if I don't tell a story, my story would not be complete. So this was, 1994. I had a lot of failures. Number one was that I actually failed to get the PG entrance because my job was, I thought I would only go to the PGI Chandigarh, to the oncology. When I look at the entrance, my name was on the bottom because I really got top. So then I wrote a book, and then in year 1999, I had the opportunity that in Institute of Medical Science, IMS is one of the top institutes in America at the time. But they would only take MBBS. I was MD. Even though here we say MBBS, in America it's called MBBS. But I was from the Nagaon Medical College. And unfortunately, at that same year, India blasted nuclear bomb, 1998. So India was, Canadian was like quite anti-Indian. So the professor of, IMS, Institute of Science, yeah, that's true. So he said, so Dr. Das, I think your certificates also are false. Not true. There is no medical college in Northeast. It's very bad. So I had that situation now. They only recognize AIMS and PG. rest of the medical colleges in India, IMS would not even recognize. And even if they recognize, if they convert, transform or my mark to their grade, I would not even D or E. Because we don't get that much mark in MBBS, right? And I was looking for the PhD there, and the PhD. So he said, Dr. Ming, do you know you are in IMS? I mean, why did you apply? Medicine, he inspired for me to do the research as well. They never first step. So I came to Nehru. I also went actually many others. I would not disclose the name. I did not only mention Nehru and other two. So Nehru wrote that 2 pages. Such the letter is best with me. So that really sealed the deal. Because in America, they give a lot of importance to reference from your in a previous whoever you are training. So thank you for that. Yes. So the important thing is this, that when I was in Nagaon Medical College, I forged a relationship with my professors. That really helped. So, you have that opportunity, and that relationship is very important, that's lifelong relationship. And at the same time also, when you go to become a doctor with your patients, that will build lifelong relationship. That's important. So now, next is that when I started making the lab in our India, this is where I started working with patients. So those patients really help. They actually sometimes they will teach you because they sometimes know more than us. It's to their disease. So that's very important. And there are a lot of people who inspire us. But the key thing is this in our life, is that the inspiration comes from the root where you're born. In a way, when you grow up, and I have gone to so many places in the world, still my Sualkuchi, the way it is, what it is, you have to feel it. So, it's like, this is a slide actually from a Japanese. I did a talk in a Japanese conference in IIT Guwahati. We should not forget our root. That we all come from villages, rural area. All these villages will have some kind of a local medicinal healers. Yes, sometimes they really kind of might beg it from us, but some of the healers might have good philosophy inside. We need to respect them and make a forced relationship with them, or relationship with the Ayurvedic service in a philosophical field, and maybe bring those ideas to her to experiment. That's what we did. So I would not talk very much about that. If you have any question, I can answer this question. See, I wanted to show you one slide, but the slide's lost. That slide was about a press release. That we are the first lab in entering India that has transformed a piece of philosophy, Indian philosophy, to science. I talk about another half a minute about that. So back at university, wanted to have a press release about our discovery. I told them that the real inspiration coming from Indian Avatarvad philosophy. When Stanford Dean and Stanford philosophy head told me, Dr. Das, philosophy does not exist in India. India doesn't have philosophy. What we're talking about is Indian religion. I was a little bit better, but I thought Indian has Indian philosophy. He said, no, there's no philosophy. Because to be philosophy, you have to have an idea that can be proved by experiment. So the Western philosophy, why? Because Western science emerged from Western philosophy. And that is interesting, the new definition of philosophy. If you want to make it a philosophical thought, that should be able to experiment. In that ground, India didn't have a philosophy, we don't have a philosophy. I mean, we may be shouting, India within border, it doesn't matter. Once you fly away from India, you will know, for the rest of the world, India doesn't matter. You are entering a new world. You're lucky. In your time, India is coming up. So if I can be, our KaviKrishna Laboratory could be a good story for you, very good. So one story is this, very simple. Stuck to your root and dream big, but start from your village itself.